Good morning, people of YouTube. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages. My name is KHIFIEWEST for anybody that is brand new to this channel and may or may not have just jumped into this video. My name, as I've just said, is KHIFIEWEST, Christopher McCready, Chris McCready, whatever you want to call me. To go over that quickly, so I have had a lot of people asking me why my name goes by KHIFIEWEST when my name on Instagram is Christopher McCready or Chris McCready or Facebook Christopher McCready. There's absolutely lots going about. So when I was young, I was given the nickname Kiffy, which really, I don't really want to go into that side of things. But when I was younger, my nickname was Kiffy, right? That went through primary school, that went through the academy, that went through or high school, whatever anybody wants to call it. So yeah, it did stick. My goal was then to become a professional wrestler. I did want to keep Kiffy in, but I never knew what I could put behind it. I didn't just want to put my second name as McCready behind it. So what I thought was, well, I look up to John Cena as a role model, as in John Cena, who was a professional wrestler in WWE, who is now a film star, a movie, whatever you want to call it. He has kind of moved to that side of things. But I still look up to him. I looked up to him as a bodybuilder. I looked up to him as a professional wrestler, of course. So John Cena, for anybody that does not know, is from West Newbury, Massachusetts in America. Therefore, I took the West from that, put it against my name. KW looked better than CW, so that's why I changed the C from Kiffy, because it was actually a C for Kiffy just because of obviously Chris. So I took the C from Kiffy, made it a K, KHIFIEWEST, KHIFIEWEST, KW looks better than CW. That's it. I don't want to go any further, but forgot what I was going to say. But what we're going to bring to this video today, guys, because it has not really been highly requested, I'm not going to say that, but I have had a lot of questions throughout Instagram that I may or may not have been able to answer because there's been that many. So what I thought I would do was give you guys a chance over on my Instagram. If you did not see it, then again, that is on you, that's not really on me. But I would give you guys a chance to ask me anything, and I could come onto YouTube and of course do a Q&A, because I've not done a Q&A in probably a couple of months now. And I think maybe I should keep you guys updated on anything that you want to know. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to bring a Q&A to this YouTube channel. We're going to try and get it back alive again, because I haven't fell out of love with YouTube. There's just been so much going on and I'm desperate to tell you, but it's just like, I'm just waiting. So there's been so much going on, and YouTube's not necessarily taking a back seat. It's just like with the editing and things like that. And obviously you guys know I do everything on my phone, so it's like, it's kind of hard that way as well. Yeah, I'm going to stop making excuses. I'm going to go on with this Q&A. We have got the trusty old iPad here, because as you guys know, this is on my phone. I don't have a camera, so I can't sit here on my phone and just answer all the questions or flick through the questions. I have had to airdrop the questions from my phone to my iPad so I can answer them from my iPad on this YouTube video for you guys. So please appreciate that. Without further ado, question numero uno. We have got, what do you think? I'm not even going to answer that, in fact. Right, I'm just going to move on, right? So I basically have screenshotted all of the questions here, right? There is literally lots of questions, right? Now, bearing in mind, all of these questions probably aren't going to get answered, right? But I'm going to do my best to cover the majority of them, okay? So I'm just going to kind of randomly pick. If they are a stupid question and you know that you've asked a stupid question and I go to read out a stupid question and don't answer that stupid question, you'll know it's simply just down to it being a stupid question, okay? Question number one. Let's actually get this one, okay? So how do you suggest using a logbook for training? Track everything. Me personally, everybody knows that I don't logbook. Again, for anybody new into this, I don't logbook just simply because I like to go for a more so auto-regulated approach. So if I go into the gym and I'm maybe not feeling something, this is just the way that I've always trained. I have never logbooked my whole entire life. So I go in, depending how I'm feeling, I will have set exercises to do, and some things I will have set sets to do, as in weights and reps, mainly just on the big exercises such as my squats, benches, deadlifts, maybe a bent over row, leg press on a specific weight, depending really what I've got access to on that day. So I really only logbook them ones, but I would, for my clients anyway, like depending how experienced you are, this is a big one that does come down to experience, depending how long you've trained for, how, again, knowledgeable you are towards your training, how confident you are to be able to go in and do something like that and not rely on what your logbooks say, not rely on looking back over what you've done last week to make sure that you are doing the right exercise or the right sets and reps the following week. I film most of my things, not just specifically for Instagram, but I do film more of my things just to kind of form check things, make sure that I am happy enough with everything, because obviously most of my things that I film will be warm-up sets, directly warm-up sets, just to make sure that I'm nice and tight and I'm happy with how things are going towards my working sets, especially on something like a deadlift. I will always film them to make sure that everything is going right, and if there's something that I look back and see that I could say, right, I might need to slightly push my hips down a little bit, or knees forward a little bit, or get the bar wherever I need it to be, just to get a little bit extra drive before my top end set, so I don't go into my top end set and fuck it up. That's really the main thing. That goes for all exercises, but like I said, I only track my big moves. All my clients, I get everybody to track. I do get everybody to track all of their sessions, just to make sure that a lot of people are still progressing. Our performance in the gym is going to be the biggest thing, regardless. But like I said, it is going to come down to experience of whether you really feel you need to logbook, or you can just go in balls to the wall and train and auto-regulate when you need to. Because this is one of the things that I do see nowadays from a lot of people that do logbook. They are now moving more so back to the point where the logbook isn't gonna, like, you always see the people going, oh, the logbook never lies, right? Fine, fair enough. You can hit one set, one session, right? But think of something like a hip hinge move, right? Most hip hinge moves are very unreliable. They're very unpredictable. You cannot go in and predict what you're going to do, right? These things can either be for you or they can be against you. And I've noticed lots of times with things like deadlifts, I could go in one week and I'll know, like, if warm-up sets maybe feeling off, then my top set's feeling great. Or you could then choose your warm-ups could be feeling great and your top set could go to shit. You really don't know how these things are going to go. But I would suggest logbooking if you really feel you need to. If you don't feel you need to and you are good enough to go in and be able to train obviously at an intensity point where your levels are pretty high, then do that. But if not and you feel you need to logbook, I would no more than recommend it 100%. Do you think you will ever become assisted? Question that I really can't answer in these video, guys. Like, I cannot say yes and I cannot say no. I know what my goals are. I would never set limitations on myself as a natural athlete, so until a time really comes where I make a really big decision of taking them or not taking them, that's really only going to be the time that I'm going to be able to answer this, especially on YouTube. You guys know that I'm real. You guys know that I don't come on here and just sit and talk a lot of rubbish and say that I'm going to do this and don't do it, and say that I'm not going to do something and then I end up doing it, or just make up a lot of stuff. So it's really a question that I can't answer now. I can only apologise for that, but maybe next month, maybe next year, maybe tomorrow, I don't even know. But it's not really a question that I can answer right now. Do you ever socialise, go out partying, etc., or did you fully just dedicate your life to lifting 24/7? Me sitting here saying that I don't socialise is not me sitting here saying that I'm a hardcore bodybuilder and I don't socialise. It just isn't for me. Again, going out partying, I've never went out partying, I never go out partying. It just doesn't interest me. I get a lot of stick for it, just down to the point of, why do I isolate myself from that kind of stuff? And to be quite honest, it just isn't for me. Like, alcohol has never interested me. That's why I never take anything to do with it. It's not because I'm a bodybuilder and I can't do anything like that. I can't have anything like fuck me. Like, my this off season's gonna last over a year, and it's gonna give me so many opportunities to be able to go out partying and do all that kind of stuff. Because we guys know, when it comes to prep, there is no balance when it comes to prep. You can't go out partying when it comes to prep. You can't do this when it comes to prep. You can't do that when it comes to prep. Like, I don't believe there's a balance anyway, especially if you want to really get to the top. Once it comes to prep, there is not going to be a balance. Towards the lifting side of things, training has always been my most favourite thing to do. It satisfies my day every single day. It satisfies my need every single day. That's why I do it regardless. You know, you do get a lot of people that will go and train and then they'll go out the following night, they'll go out that night or whatever happens. But again, it's not just, it's never been for me. It's never been an interest. That's why I've never really took anything to do with it. Do you have a certain rep range you try and hit when deadlifting? Totally depends how I am programming my deadlifts. That kind of, say for instance, 4 to 6 weeks, depending on where I am at. Like, recently, I have been working more so within the kind of 1 to 5 rep range. So that's really where it's stayed. Potentially that is where it's going to stay for maybe the next kind of 3 to 5 weeks. But the only thing that's changed is the intensity strategy. So basically what I'm doing is I'm now moved to pause deadlifts. What I've done is I've went from straight deadlifts through a touch and go. I've then moved to dead stop deadlifts for quite a while now. I did take that up to 300 for 4, then I done the 310 for 3, I then done the 320 for 2, and then I done 330 for 1. So that's the kind of way it ended up. Once I got the 330 for 1, that kind of obviously came from the confidence of the 320 double. 330 for 1, then I came back to 300, and what I done was I was desperate to tick off 5 reps with 300, so I ticked off the 5 reps with 300. Now, because I've been kind of within 300 to 330 for between 5 and 6 weeks now, staying up there would only really start to see things come back the way. So basically what I've done is I have moved back to pause deadlifts, because where I left off from there, I've basically took off. So I left off at 270 and now I've took off from 280. So again, 280 for 5 is a very, very, very big PR, and it's a very big start for pause deadlifts. But that's really where things are now. That's where my top end weights are at, between 300 and 330. So realistically, I am not going to be pulling back unless I had a very much off day or I went into a deload or something like that. I wouldn't really pull back under kind of the 260, 270 mark. So 280 was really where it was at for the start and set on pause, whether I go 285 or 290 for 3 to 5 next session. And then realistically, I am going to be working in 5s again, but I won't be doing anything such as a 1 repper or a 2 repper anytime soon. There is a lot of work that needs to be done before anything like that happens again. So I know that a lot of you guys, I know that I post my big sets, right? My big sets usually just somehow end up maybe 1 or 2 reps or 3 reps, but that's not how my training is. I don't have specific rep ranges. I like to be able to perform well in a 1 to 5 set, just like I like to perform well in a set of 5 to 50 reps. Do you know what I mean? I always like to make sure I can perform well in every rep range. So especially for deadlifts, I don't have a specific rep range I like to hit. It just really depends on what my goal is and what I'm working on at the time. Which lift are you most proud of? I'm probably going to have to put this one down as the 330 pull off the floor or my 300 squat. I keep forgetting about that one. I actually keep forgetting about that one. Don't even know why, because that took, I feel as if that took balls more than anything else. Like that took a lot of training towards, that took a lot of, all of the years go towards these big lifts, guys, but at the same time, the preparation of potentially the kind of 12 week out of going to do a lift like this, like you might not know 12 weeks out that you are going to do this lift, but that kind of preparation of training you see go up and down, up and down, up and down, and then when it comes to that week where you know that you're going to hit that weight, you know that you're going for that weight, you know you're going to attempt that weight, the anxiety that kicks in, because that is really all you can think about, that is really when shit starts to get real. That is really when the mindset takes over, that you really need to stay strong up here. You need to really think, right, fuck no, I can, because if you ever let slip into your mind that you might not be able to do it, you're fucked from that get-go. You're fucked from the very start. You will not do it. That is, again, this goes back to me setting limitations on me being a natural athlete. I have never ever let anything like that into my head before something like a big set such as a 330 kilo deadlift or a 300 squat or anything even near about that. Anything can happen, guys. You can go to pull a 200 kilo deadlift and it can be the exact same. A 180 kilo deadlift, the exact same. A 140 squat, it can be the exact same. You don't think you're going to do it, you aren't going to do it, and it's as simple as that, guys. What is your caffeine intake like? This varies day to day, totally depending if I take pre-workout. Again, I don't actually drink that much Monster now. I maybe have just, I don't know, it's like during prep I kind of thought that maybe I needed it more than I actually wanted it, just so I kind of, because obviously on prep and that you're dying, you get away with a Monster and you think it's like the best thing in the world. So again, prep I would probably go through more so 1 can a day. Obviously leading up to the very end of prep it would get cut out, but I would more so drink it on prep, whereas when I move into my off season, I think because there's that much variety and everything else, you forget about things like caffeinated beverages. So I don't actually drink that much Monster. If I do get the chance to drink a can, I will have it. Do you know what I mean? If I go into a shop and I see it, there's probably a high chance that I will buy it. But I don't actually drink that much. So again, totally depends if I take pre-workout, and it totally depends on Monster. I don't drink coffee. I've never drank coffee in my whole entire life, so that's never really been an issue. So it really just does come from your kind of Monster energy drinks or Rain energy drinks and pre-workout. So again, you can maybe talk, if I say I had a Monster and pre-workout that day, you could maybe talk up to like 600 milligrams to 1,000 milligrams of caffeine. That sounds fucking awful, but that does not happen every single day. So please don't jump in the comments and say, Kiffy, that is too much caffeine, because it's not, and I don't take it every single day. So, next question. Do you still watch professional wrestling? I do watch it, but I don't watch it to anywhere near the extent of what I used to watch it. More so, I watched it a lot before I got into it. Then once I got into it, I would still watch it, but I wouldn't really watch it that much as a kind of from a fan perspective, if that makes sense. I would watch it more so for the knowledge of it. I would watch it more so to learn new stuff. Then once obviously I kind of left that side of things, I did start watching it a lot more. But see, throughout lockdown, throughout all this COVID kind of stuff, it's not fell away. I will still jump onto YouTube with no time, and I will still watch things like that. But I think because it's not really the main goal anymore, I will just really opt to watch it sometimes as a fan, but not really that much anymore. Again, it's just one of them things. There is so much online now, and so much that obviously takes over, and then always kind of falls into the back. But I do still watch it, just not anywhere near to the extent of what I used to watch it. What supplements do you use? I actually made a video, which is like 2 videos ago, potentially 3 videos ago, of all of the supplements that I use. So what I'll do is I will drop the link to that video in the description box below. You can literally just show over there, watch that video. It covers so much more than what I would cover in this one question, and I don't want to just bombard this video with what supplements do I use when I did just make a video like 2 weeks ago on it. How hard was your last prep? Did you break at all? My last prep was probably the hardest prep that I've ever done in my whole entire life, just from the mental side of things. Did I break at all? I'll just cover that right now. No, I did not break at all, but this goes into why my prep was the hardest out of anything at all. We prepped for more so a lot of the time last year, so I believe prep started kind of May, June time. Everything was going really well. It was prep was started early because the show was going to happen obviously early. All this COVID stuff was still happening. The plan was always still to compete, blah 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 blah, all the way into the show getting cancelled around I believe it was something like 8 weeks out maybe, which was okay because obviously we were deep enough into prep, but not deep enough to the point where it was really fucking hurting, okay? That then pushed us back. We were then around 15 weeks out, so again, we've got 15 weeks to show time, perfect, that's all good. We then close in on that 15 weeks. That 15 weeks happens. Very hard 15 weeks, well, especially the last kind of 5-6 weeks when it starts getting deeper and deeper and deeper and deeper. Starts getting really hard. Everything's going just the way it needs to be. We're ready to compete. We get to peak week. We do the 3 days depletion. We go into the carb up, and then we get pulled from the carb up. Vicky messages me, the show's not going ahead. Yeah, that was probably the hardest time of my life, the biggest decision of my life, because I then got faced with the choice. I didn't get faced with a decision that had to be made. Well, again, it was a decision that had to be made from myself, but I got faced with the choice of continuing on prep for a further 4 weeks in the hope that the show would go ahead in 4 weeks' time. Now, I believe I did make a video on this, but I didn't really cover that much in it. But yeah, we got kind of hit by a big massive brick, and it was really fucking sore. Mentally it took absolutely everything because I was done, and I don't know, I think we just because we completed the full prep, we then completed the first initial peak week because obviously I had to do it again, but we completed peak week and obviously done the really hard depletion days. For anybody that doesn't know a depletion day, that's just literally where your food gets fucking cut to absolutely zero. When you're already done, bearing in mind, so not just when you've got all the food under the sun. There was no such things as like refeeds or anything like that in prep. So I mean, by that time, you just kind of want it over with. You felt as if you were there as well. Like I felt as if I was there. I felt as if everything had been done. You moved in the first day of carb up, the water load and all the potato, everything else, and then it got cancelled, and it was either a case of you pull from prep now or you continue on for a further 4 weeks. I really had no choice. I can't put it down to my stubbornness, but at the same time, I had a goal and I really fucking wanted that goal regardless of whether it was going to kill me or not. I stuck with it. The next 4 weeks, had Vicky by my side. Vicky kept me fucking my head from going minced about 100 times. I ended up really ill when I was 2 weeks out, like very ill. Whereas food would never like process through my body, it would never digest. Food would go in 2 seconds, back out. Do you know what I mean? There was just a lot of things that were just kind of kicking in. But we done it. We stuck through it. 3 weeks further into prep, obviously, before we had another depletion week, or a peak week, sorry, should I say. So we done the 3 days deplete again. We then went through with a full carb up. And then what happened the night before the show? My fucking planes got cancelled. British Airways sent me an email the day before the show saying my flights had got cancelled. Like, you were just waiting. You were just waiting on what the fuck next would go wrong. I was like fucking 18 hours out from a show that was happening 8 hours from where I actually live, and my flights had got cancelled, and you were just like, fuck me, just keep giving me. I'm just like buying. I'm just eating all of this fucking negative shit up. It's just, so yeah, you can really imagine, obviously, what kind of went down from them. But of course, my good man Liam, who owns HR Labs, came forward, saved my life, and got me to London, got me to show day, and we had a very fucking good day on show day. But that was really it. That's probably quite a bit went into that question there, but yeah. Going back, did you break it all? I didn't break it all, or my mental barriers nearly broke, but they had to stay strong. But no, I never cheated, I never went off plan, I never had this, I never had that. How hard was your last prep? It was the hardest ever, and I feel now that because I have been able to suffer through something like that, I won't have a problem. It won't not be hard, don't get me wrong. I'm not sitting here saying my next preps won't be hard. They will be hard and I will have to suffer. But if I can suffer all of the sacrifices and everything through that rubbish prep, that everything just, I mean, it wasn't rubbish. It was just hard, and it was just like really, really, really exciting in a bad way because everything was happening. But yeah, if I can do that, then any other preps down the line, I will be fine with. Do you have lifestyle clients that eat maintenance for any reason? I do actually have a couple of clients that eat maintenance simply just down to their specific goal. So not a lot of people's goals have to be down the kind of muscle building route or have to be down the kind of fat loss side of things. So you can really get a client that, say for instance, came to you for weight loss, right? Once that kind of weight loss process is done, a lot of people like to be able to maintain that for obviously the foreseeable future. So it's not just a case of, right, you jump onto a 6-week fat loss phase and then you have to go into a muscle building phase, or you have to then binge and put that stone on that you just took off over the course of 6 weeks. A lot of people do like to kind of sit on a maintenance kind of wall just to kind of get through their life. Obviously they've reached where they want to kind of be, so then they might not want to go out themselves. They might want to still be with you, they might want to still be coached. I have got a couple of people like that. It is quite, don't get me wrong, it is quite rare to have people like that. Usually you would get people that would more so want to do a future muscle building phase after obviously they've just took the fat off, they've seen what's there, they now want to go into a surplus, a small surplus anyway, so they don't get really, really fat, and obviously move into a muscle building phase or a surplus, whatever you want to call it. Again, depending how lean you want to get, all comes down to it, guys. Some people might literally just need a kick up the arse to get their food back in place and have somebody to be accountable to. That might just mean that they might want to get to maintenance calories. But again, like I said, I have had people that have came to me more so for weight loss over fat loss. Usually if your goal is just to strip the body fat off, you potentially would want to go into a surplus after that. But if you're just coming for weight loss, then I can very much see the point of, after you have done that weight loss journey, you might want to set at a maintenance just because you are happy enough with the look, you're happy enough with your body composition, and you want to maintain that. Again, you can progress in the future, but if you want to maintain that for a little while anyway, then that is totally cool with me. Favourite cereal other than Frosties? Cocoa Pops rocks. They are the elite. Do not get them mixed up with original Cocoa Pops because they're nowhere near them. We have also got Weetabix chocolate minis, the white chocolate ones only, and Crunchy Nut Clusters, the chocolate and peanut butter ones. They are all elite. We did have chocolate pillows in around 2 years ago, 3 years ago, until Morrison's decided to stop doing them, which I am still not happy about because they were literally the elite of the elite. Never get them mixed up with Crave. If you do want to send me a message and say that you should try Crave because they're better than chocolate pillows, then please do not do that because you will be instantly blocked. They were not anywhere near them. Chocolate pillows were the best, but yeah, that's going to be a favourite cereal other than Frosties. Chocolate pillows, Weetabix chocolate minis, Cocoa Pops rocks, and Crunchy Nut Clusters, peanut butter and chocolate. Right, next question. Typical amount of cardio in the off season. I do not do cardio in the off season. I take the dog out a walk, I perform very high rep sets. That is really my endurance work throughout the off season. Again, once I move to prep, I don't actually do that much cardio throughout prep. Like, my cardio has never been over 10 minutes in prep. Like, don't even jump to the ball and say, how can you only do 10 minutes of cardio in prep? Like, cardio is only a tool. So that's one of the things as well. Like, I would never jump into a prep and say, all right, I've got an hour of cardio to do here, an hour of cardio to do there. I have always found that my preps have always worked so much better. Again, like, down to training as well. I don't want cardio to obviously hinder my performance in the gym. So at the same time, once I move to the off season, I will keep my steps up. That is one thing anyway. For the course of the day anyway, guys, I will do 8 to 15,000 steps in the off season. So I mean, that is definitely enough. So that's why I don't really look to maybe implement too much of it throughout the off season, and of course prep. When is the 350 kilo deadlift happening? You're a champ. You're a champ. And I do not know when the 350 kilo deadlift is happening. I have not got a specific date. I don't know when it's going to happen. I am training for pulling 8 plates off the floor first. That'll be 340 kilo. I reckon that'll be pretty decent. But at the same time, an 800 pound pull, which will be 360. I'll more so be happier once I get that over really anything else. So yeah, I'm unsure. Bodybuilding or powerlifting, are you changing? Nope, I am very much not changing. My passion for bodybuilding is far too much to just move away from it and move towards the more so powerlifting side of things. I don't think that'll ever change. I would never really move from bodybuilding to just powerlifting on its own. I think if I was going to do a powerlifting meet, I would still be always focused on my bodybuilding side of things. I would still be prepping meals. I would still be doing all things bodybuilding, training like a bodybuilder, just doing everything like a bodybuilder. It's far too big to just move away from it. I would never change. I would compete, like I said, in a powerlifting meet, but I would never move away from bodybuilding. My love for it is far too much. My goals are within bodybuilding. My long-term and short-term goals are within bodybuilding. So there would be no reason for me to move away from it, because I would literally just have to change absolutely everything in terms of goals. And for me, my goals mean far too much for me to just do something like that. So no, I am not changing from bodybuilding to powerlifting. Do realise we are getting to like the 28-minute mark, and I don't want to keep you guys waiting forever, because this is just a Q&A, but I'm trying to cover as many as possible. But I will just cover 2 more and then that is it. Okay, we will put like 31 minutes. So we've got 1 minute, 31 minutes, and then we'll go for it. Okay, so if you are hitting PRs every single week, are you building muscle? The proof is in the pudding. I am definitely, whilst hitting PRs every single week, I am still building muscle. Like, PRs you only see on Instagram, right? You only see my top set of deadlifts on Instagram. You don't see the background of that, all of my training out with that, all of my bodybuilding style training, all of my other side of training. Okay, like, deadlifts are really they're the biggest compound move, right? They're all the big compound moves happen at the very start. All the big compound moves I always prioritize, and I'm a big fan of them, because obviously building dense tissue, dense muscle, everything, I am a fan of them. I enjoy to do them. That is one of the biggest things as well. I don't just do it to build muscle. I enjoy to train, so I will always do them. I will then post them because I like to post them, and that is really it. So yes, if I'm hitting PRs every single week, will I still build muscle? Yes, I will. Last and final question. Is it harder to plan someone else's training or diet? I would put it kind of 50-50, depending on their approach beforehand. Both their training and obviously their nutrition will really dictate of how much you really need to go into depth of how you're going to program their training, how you're going to put out their nutrition. You could get people that could come to you and have been tracking their food for 5 years, training for 5 years, following a training program for 5 years, are at here because they've been doing this for 5 years. Or you could get people that could come to you and be like, I have not been following a single thing. I have just been training 3 times a week. I don't even know what I've been doing. I've just been doing this, that, the next thing. I have been training on and off for 3 years. That's when then you have to maybe take more into consideration of how you're going to get people from that to then what you want them to be at, or how you feel they need to be at to obviously be able to achieve or work towards their goals. And then again, if you've got somebody working with you that obviously has been working themselves for a said amount of years, now they just maybe want to reduce a bit of stress, or they want just somebody to be accountable to, or they want to take their training and nutrition to the next level, like that's another reason that you would get a coach to level up really. Then you are going to have to put a lot of effort into obviously planning their training program and planning their nutrition, but at the same time it's going to be a little bit different going from that to somebody that's not done a single thing really, if that makes sense. Hope that makes sense. I mean, makes sense to me, so it should make sense to you. But yeah, that is really going to be it. I will jump onto Instagram and reply to a few of these questions to try and get more of them covered, but I don't really want to keep you guys waiting forever and me rambling on forever. So yes, of course guys, I do hope you have enjoyed this video. If you have enjoyed it, then please don't forget to drop the video a like for me, guys. There will be another video up in just 5 days time. It is going to be a full day of eating in the off season. We're going to be taking in over 5,500 calories. It's also going to be on a leg day, so I'm not even going to go into it. I'm not even going to say it anymore. You're just going to have to wait for it. I do hope you guys enjoy that as well. But like I said, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new, guys, and I will see you all in the next video.